I am super, super, super excited to have you all here tonight. Raven is here. That's such a pretty picture. She really takes awesome pictures. I don't. It's not my ministry, but Sis Talk Show. Basically, I think I'm Sally Jesse Raphael. I've been searching for the perfect pair of red glasses to really tie together the look, to channel my inner Ricky Lake, Montel, Oprah, and all the other shows I had no business watching. But yet, there I was after school trying to get the tea that existed. So why did I start this talk show? I started this talk show for a few reasons. One, I like to run my mouth. All my report cards says she's very smart. She talks too much. Little do they know I get paid to run my mouth now. But beyond that was to be able to have conversations, real live conversations with other amazing, dope Black women to just really get a vibe for what do you do all day? What's your story? Talk to us. What are you working on now? What is it that is happening behind the scenes that you can't really get from a Twitter or an Instagram or even a website, right? So every single episode has its own theme. And the theme for tonight with our special guest for the evening, Raven Roberts, is owning your own beauty, owning your beauty. She is a dope human being. She has a heart of gold. Obviously, this isn't a professional resume, right? But this is how I like to, introduce people for those who's the first time here. Dope human being, heart of gold, celebrity fashion stylist, entrepreneur, content creator, and just downright amazing. And for those of you who had a chill week, Raven definitely gives off chill vibes, but with this excellent picture flair. So without further ado, Raven, if you could just come on to the stage, that would just be dope. I'm about to spotlight your video for the record. So I know I've already said hey, this is Raven, but if you could go ahead and how would you like to introduce yourself this evening? I know it's warm where you are because you got your shoulders and your collarbones out, but
everything is out today.
How would you like to introduce yourself to the crew?
I think you did a great job. But again, I am Raven Roberts. I am a celebrity stylist and content creator, originally from Los Angeles, and I love Sable just as much as she loves me, if not more. And I think that she's amazing. I'm so excited to just join you. And this is pretty much what my year has been about. So I'm really excited for our topic and to just talk about loving and living the best life and really just owning who you are fully. So, yeah.
Beautiful. I'm jealous that all of this is out. There's monsoons outside.
I saw my friend's feed. I was like,
it's wild. There's some profile on Instagram. It's like Subway Creates, something like that.
Subway Creatures, maybe?
Yes. I said create. Work with me now. I had to see, right? Subway Creatures, I don't know if they've posted within the last hour, but 2 hours ago, the last two on the profile, literally, y'all go look at it right now. It's wildness out in these streets. I was like, that's the subway?
Yeah.
Water.
My friend was in his building. Water is just coming down in the stairwell. I was like,
yeah, I was like, oh, I would just have to die. And then someone was like, the water was clean. How do we know?
It's not. How is the water clean? The subway is dirty. The subway is dirty. How is the water clean? I'm very confused.
So much happening. Okay. So I met Raven. Let me try and count. Was it 6 years ago?
It was 7, I think, because it was almost 7. It was because I had just moved to Jersey. So it was the end of 2014.
Oh my gosh, we gotta have a friendship anniversary. So I love friendship anniversary.
That was forever and a day ago.
Yeah, and look how fast the time flew by. So for those who don't know your background, I don't want to go through the chronology of like how things came to be. What I really want to start with, what gave you the feeling or just desire to go, I'm going to uproot and move from one location across the country to another location?
So I've done that basically almost like 4 times now. So I've realized that's just like my MO. I've lived in so many different states. When I turned 18, I packed up everything, went to school in Florida. Then I moved from Florida, went back to LA, moved from LA, went to New York, and then now from New York to Texas. So I have uprooted my life several times.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't move. It wasn't like I finished college and then just went straight back home. Like I had set up a life in Florida for a minute and then moved back. Anyways, so my New York move was definitely a God move. I'm a Christian. I'm very big in my faith. So when I was visiting New York, God was like, I need you to move to New York. I said, excuse me? I live in LA where it is sunny all the time.
Don't hate on our snow that gets dirty in 2 seconds.
It's snow. There's frozen things on the ground here, okay? Like our cold in California, well, at least LA is like 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's not the same.
So God just was like, I need you to move. And I said, okay, trying to be obedient. And within a month and a half, I would say, maybe not a month and a half, about 2.5 months, I had moved to the New York area because I was living in Jersey. So it was, like I said, a God move. I was visiting for about a month or so, and everyone that I met kept asking me why I didn't live there. And I was like, this is really weird. Why do people keep asking me this? And then even before I left, I went to dinner with my roommate who we were just like celebrating. I was like, we need to celebrate like living in this apartment for this amount of time. And like most of the time that we've lived here, we haven't had regular jobs. Like we work for ourselves. Like this is amazing. We need to celebrate this. And on the way to dinner, she was like, are you telling me you're moving to New York? I hadn't even been to New York yet. So like all of these things were happening before I even got to New York. And then while I was in New York, and then I just felt like God was like, you can trust me to get you jobs in LA. Can you trust me to get you jobs in New York? And I said, sorry, there's a lot of trust. That's a big ask. And then I decided to move. So
what I hear you saying, right? Let me channel my inner interviewer here, is that when the signs appear, notice them, trust them, believe them. Sometimes it's like, I see things online. It's like the sign, I'm waiting for signs. It's like, sis, you got the signs. You just have to act with what signs you've been given. So let's come back a little bit. Let's do a little rewind. How did you get into styling in the first place? And then, like, did you start with celebrities? Did you have, like, when I say regular clients, I just mean regular citizens, like everyday folks like us? Or did you like start with celebrities? Did you like look in closets and go, I'm a style? Were you always styling when you were a baby growing up and you just had it and that's just naturally what you gravitated to? Like how do we get to styling?
I have always loved fashion. That has always been a passion of mine. I love shopping, which is basically what I do for my job as a stylist, is shop for different people, whether it's at a showroom or at an actual store. So that's always been like a passion of mine. It just wasn't going to be, I didn't think it was going to be a career. So fast forward, I was working at a startup company and I was known as the girl who was into fashion. I had a jewelry line at the time that I was starting, and somebody there needed help, like their girlfriend needed help with an event. They were like, we want help bringing the fashion to this event. So I was like, okay, cool, I can help you. It turned out it was the premiere party for this web series. So I met with the girl. She was like,
come through opportunity.
Yeah. So she was like, maybe we can get your jewelry on the web series. And I was like, yes, let's figure it out. So I met with the girl who created the web series, and she was like, I want you to style the web series. I was like,
huh? Oh, the whole series. So we went from event to jewelry placement to the whole series. I didn't know this, y'all, for the record.
Yeah. So I was like, what? I was like, okay. So I was literally just working for her. I had friends that would introduce me as like their stylist friend. And I was like, please don't do that. Like, I'm not. No. So this was like in May of that year. Fast forward to December, I got laid off from my job.
Okay.
And more people kept asking me to style things. So I was like, well, maybe I should try this. Like maybe I'm good at it. We'll see. And once I actually like put in the effort, here we are this many years later. So I haven't really I've done it for my friends where it comes to like regular people, but majority of the people that I work with are either actors or models or celebrities. So yeah.
Of all the projects that you've worked on, because you've worked on some pretty dope projects, and this might feel like an unfair question, and I promise y'all there's a method in my head about how this connects the theme for today, so just stick with me, just trust me. Of all the projects you've worked on, what has been your favorite and then why?
So my answer has been the same pretty much my entire career. So this is something I did very early on. And it ties into all of this. I did styling for a makeover show for a YouTube show. And it was giving these like women who had written in, like these super deserving women. And we would go in, give them like hair, makeup, and do their wardrobe for them. So we would shop for their wardrobe and then give them this huge makeover. And it was like surprising them with this.
I love those kind of shows.
Yes. And so it was amazing because to see these women in clothes that they kind of like were dreaming about but weren't really in, and to see all the looks kind of come together, or them have like a lot of them had an event, like one girl, it was her graduation, so she was really excited about that, so we made sure to put together a look for her graduation. And it was just to see the look on the women's faces and how excited they were to have someone like pour into them versus them always having to pour out to others. Like one woman was a veteran. So it was just great to talk to these different women and be able to bless them in that way.
When I know you said that was early on, how many years ago was that? I'm just curious.
That was in 2014.
2014. It's amazing sometimes like what the public would think could be like your favorite actually isn't, and it's like something that was large in monuments to you, but like no one knows about it because of just the nature in which it unfolded. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically you fell into styling, but you've been praying for it your whole life, because I've seen some of her baby pictures, y'all. She's been going through the closet and putting together looks like this entire time. I've seen enough baby pictures.
I can't say that was all me. My parents are very stylish, so it is in the genes.
I just feel, I know you just a little bit. I just feel like you were like, not those shoes. Those shoes. Like, even if it wasn't the whole fit, like there was a piece you were like, that necklace. That's the one.
Let's finish it off with this.
Yeah. Like, so you've been, organically preparing for it because you were interested in it. One, just when I listen to things, y'all, I'm like, what are the key takeaways? And sometimes they're not as obvious as one would think, unless it's like preach. So I grew up in a Baptist church. Unless it's like preacher style, where like, these are my 3 key points. Even if it takes 2 hours to get through the key points for the record, like there's 3 key points. One for me, just like listening to Raven this far, is the signs. If you just stop and reflect, the signs are there. You just have to pay attention to them and act on them. But 2, when the door opens, walk through it.
I literally, when I first started styling, I didn't have a kit. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I literally went on Google and was like, what is in a stylist kit? I had no idea. And the crazy thing was, she already had a stylist who was a stylist. And she was just like, I want you to do this. And I was like, but what? Like, wow, man, I ain't never done this. Like, why you want me to do this? And thinking back on it, but like, there were some shoots that I styled in like college, but I didn't really consider those like, oh, you're a stylist. It was just like,
I'm helping my friend on their project. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. And so when I had to work with her, I had to create mood boards for the characters and all these things. So when I met with her the next time, she was like, this is amazing. She was like, because the stylist that she had at the time didn't really do well with the men. I don't know why she thought I was going to do well with the men, but she was just like,
she felt it in her heart.
She did. It was the spirit. Because when I tell you Jesus be covering everything, okay? So I was like, okay, well, let me figure it out. And then I gave her all the mood boards for the characters. And she was like, these are amazing. She was like, the men look so great. They're so distinct. She's like, I'm so happy about this. And it's so fulfilling because like on one of those jobs, like the guy that I worked with, one of the guys that was on the cast, he's now on a show. He's on like this Tyler Perry show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Like, cause he was acting back then, and to see him like as a like key person on the show now, working and doing this for a living still, I was like, this is amazing.
I'm nosy. Who?
His name, like it's on BET Plus. So if you ain't got BET Plus,
I ain't got BET. Yeah. There's too many apps these days.
It's a lot of apps.
CBS Plus, Discovery Plus. It's plus. I'm like,
everybody got something extra. Everybody got something extra. But if you do have it, it's a show called Bruh. So it's kind of like
Oh, I heard of this show, but I haven't seen it clearly because it's on BET Plus.
It's on BET Plus. So it's, I guess, like the brother to sisters.
Yeah.
So they have that show, and he's one of the four guys, like one of the four main guys on there.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, look at you out here.
I remember when. Okay, so in this process of styling, I can imagine that, well, obviously there's planning involved because you're doing mood boards, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not it's for an entire series, just to shoot, be it video, magazine, what have you. Or even like a product shoot because someone is launching this new whatever, and photos have to be taken, videos have to be done. What's the process? Like, how do you make sure that no matter what someone has on in the end, they are confident and like feel amazing and beautiful? And like it's theirs. It's not like Raven said you should wear this and Sable said you would look good in that. It's like, no, like I would have picked this for myself if I knew how to dress, etc., etc.
So what I do for pretty much any like celebrity client, especially when we're doing a red carpet, or even with my friends, because I've helped my friends revamp their wardrobe, clean out their closets. We go shopping, get all the stuff, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about this. So what I do is I take what your vision is. So I usually ask for at least 3 pictures. That's all I need. Just give me like an idea of where to go. Because you can tell me rock or chic. You could be thinking something else, and I could be thinking something else.
That's true.
And that's not what I was thinking. So I always need just a visual so I know. So, and then sometimes clients are like, well, I don't want to send any pictures. And I'm like, I just need to know the direction. So it just helps so that I know where the starting point is and where I can push you out of. So what I usually do is I get those 3 images, then I create a mood board from that. And create more images off of that. And then from there, I go shopping, whether it's at a showroom or me and the person go shopping. And then in my head, I already know how far I can kind of push you out of this comfort zone that's on this mood board.
Don't secretly read me. Because I said, don't secretly read me. I wear the same color, just to be clear.
But that's the thing. That's the whole purpose, especially of having a stylist, because they will push you to limits that you may not go to. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole purpose is for you to still look like you, but an elevated version without looking like you have a costume on. Because that's the last thing I want my client to do on the red carpet is to look like I'm super uncomfortable. So it's like I can't push you too much out of your comfort zone because you'll look uncomfortable. But I know I can push you enough to be like, well, let's try this, or let's just at least try this on. And if you don't like it, then you ain't got to get it or whatever. So that's kind of how I get it. once I know your style and I know where I can push you to with a client, I try to elevate them to the point that I would like to get them to through time, so it's not going to be like from here, from 0 to 60, because with celebrities, there's a lot of people involved. It's just not me and the client. It's me, the client, PR. It might be their manager of like where their image is trying to go. And sometimes it doesn't line up with the celebrity. I've been on things like that where I'm like, well, your PR is saying this. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to meet somewhere in the middle.
We got to reconcile this tension.
Like, we got to figure something out. But when it comes to like regular people, regular women, it's really about just trying new things, pushing people out of their comfort zone to just be like, well, let's just try this shirt. And I go shopping with a lot of my guy friends, and I just have to kind of just like push them sometimes to be like, so would you wear this originally? And they'll be like, no, I wouldn't even ever look at that. I'm like, okay, let's take it to the dressing room and try it on. And then they'll try it on and be like, this is really dope. Thanks. Like, I would have never thought to wear this. And it could be the simplest thing. But a lot of people get in patterns of either buying the same thing, buying the same colors, and just repeating.
Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me.
It's not just you, though. It's not just you. I do it too. There are so many times where I'm just like, this is what I have, this is what I'm wearing, or I only wear this type of thing. And
I'm definitely at the stage where I'm like, oh, I like this, buy 5 of them. So when it goes bad, or the hole and a rip in the seam and it's not fixable, I'm like, it's cool. I got a stash.
Yep. And I totally understand that too. There are certain things where I'm just like, I know I like this. I'm going to get it because, like you said, if it gets that stain on it, if it gets a rip, if it gets something, I got a backup one over here. It's just like you just stock up, But
I definitely have inventory.
You got to mix it in with some, statement pieces, cute little pop of color here and there, on top of all of those staples.
Sliding in the statement pieces, and so owning your beauty to me can have so many different layers to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start, let's start surface level, and then we'll get our wet. The oceans are on fire. I don't even want to talk about my analogy. I just pictured the image that everyone saw on Twitter, and I was like, damn, the oceans really are on fire. Okay, well, let's just start the surface, and then we'll just work our way through the soil. We won't deal with the water tonight, although I can still hear the rain outside. For those of us, and this is turning into an individual therapy session for me, but there might be others here who've been home for a year working from home, and even when before it's like, I'm gonna get cute, I'm gonna do maybe not every day commuting to work, going to work, driving, however you get there. Yeah. It's like after a year of going, you can only see me from here up. I'm back here because of this. If this were during the work week, you don't even see, I'm just, you don't see nothing, okay? I've taken calls in pajamas, okay? Yeah. What tips could you give us to get back into that groove for those of us who are entering offices again or co-working spaces, whatever it might be?
Yeah. I would say, especially if you want to leave the house and you're going to be in new working environments or, returning to these work environments with people, and you still want to be comfortable because everyone wants to have live this life of comfort now and they don't want to leave it. And I totally understand. There's a ton of companies now that are creating more relaxed fit things. They're creating more comfortable pants. You can definitely opt for a silkier material. It depends on your office place because there are some offices that or some companies that you have to wear a suit, you have to wear a skirt to work or whatever. But I would say just kind of figure out what your comfort zone is. Hopefully you ain't got to be at work every day. You know what I'm saying? But figure out what your comfort zone is. Maybe if you have to wear a suit, you have a silky blouse on or something like that to make that material that's, at the top half a little bit more silky and comfortable. But I would definitely look for more comfort options in your work wardrobe. I don't have a regular job, so I can't always tell you where those pieces are.
I feel like we got to change the language. It's like you have a regular job. You don't have a traditional office job, but
that part.
Styling has existed forever.
It has. So I don't have a traditional office job. We're going to change the vernacular. I don't have a traditional office job. So I have seen from looking out, like searching for different things, Zara has some amazing, like beautiful pants right now. So if you do have the option to not have to wear like a traditional suit, they have some beautiful silky kind of pants. They're not really pajama pants, but they're wide leg, gorgeous. You can pair them with like a really nice top. And I know right now, because I just saw the Banana Republic is having a sale. I love a good sale. So
I've been avoiding the sales because I was like, where am I going? People are going back to work. I'm not going back to work. But Allison put something in the chat, which is why I've ended up, Allison. So I want to commend you for like going down the color route. But I think what you expressed, Allison, in the chat is why I have a muted wardrobe for the most part. Because it's like when you were just, going to work, doing your thing, as much as I love these bright colors, I'm like, how do I remix this and get multiple wears out of this with my hot pink and my orange? I'm not too much of a hot pink girl, but I love me some orange, some yellow, and some emerald green.
So this is how you do that. So since they are suits, you wear them as a suit and then you wear them as separate. Yes. So you can do the green blazer with some black pants.
Allison has 5 orange suits.
I'm here for it.
So much.
I'm here for it. Get the color. Get the color in. So there's so many different ways that you can wear a suit, and that's kind of how you get the longevity out of your items, is splitting them up. So you may wear like the orange pants one day with a cardigan. You may wear the blazer one day with maybe like a khaki pair of pants or another color pair of pants or something like that. You may want to color block this. Maybe you wear your pink pants from the pink suit and the orange jacket from this one. You can do a monochromatic look. So if you have an orange shirt with your orange suit, a pink shirt with the pink suit. So there's so many different ways that you can kind of remix it, even if you just wear a blouse with the pants and not always wear the full suit. But yeah, that's the best way to make it memorable. I would definitely say break it up as much as possible and then wear those suits to just, step on out the house. But you can always mix and match with the different items as well. Color is great. If you are a person that has to stay in that like black, gray, navy suit zone.
Don't talk about us.
But I'm saying like if you want to pop a color, get a cute bag. You know what I'm saying? Like it may just be at your desk.
I love the bag.
Your color. You know what I'm saying?
I love your bag.
They can't tell you what your bag could look like. I don't know, maybe they do. But so you can have one of those and still be in dress code, but then be able to show your personality with a cute bag or something like that.
Okay. So surface, right? Soil. We at the top with the grass. I'm just gonna take us a little bit deeper. Black at work, hair. So I can imagine to a certain degree styling for your clients, particularly the celebrity clients, might be a little bit different than working through that process with, those of us who are working 9 to 5s and going into offices, whether it's a nurse, a lawyer, a teacher, an engineer, social worker, et cetera, et cetera. So like, to me, when I'm hearing conversations and paying attention and keeping my fingers on the pulse, it's a lot easier to figure out like what's your 5 to 10 minute face routine during, makeup wise, if you wear makeup daily. There's an entire conversation that has been in existence for forever as it pertains to hair. Yes. So like, as you're working with clients with clothing, and pushing the envelope, like, well, if you just put this shirt on, Sable, like, go in that dressing room and trust me. And I'm gonna be like, no, and you're gonna be like, go, and I'm gonna go eventually. I'll give up.
Yes.
what's the kind of conversations you have with people about like owning your beauty and it's like the clothing you put on, but just like owning how you choose to wear your hair?
I think it's a lot different now because so many Black women have been home. So it's like you really can't govern what my hair looks like all the time. Like I may show up on this Zoom with some braids one day. I may show up with the Zoom with the puff or whatever. So I think that it's helped a bit with
a
Black
slight
women.
shift.
Yeah, their hair showing up. Also, the Crown Act is huge. I think it's been passed in like 13 states now.
I think it's 13, which in the grand scheme of things is not enough.
We're aiming for 50.
We are working our way up the number line.
Yes, when we were at 0 a few years ago, 13, I'm like, look, we on our way. So if you live in one of those 13 states, wear your hair how you want to wear it, okay? Like, can't nobody fire you now. So, but I think as Black women, our hair is so important, and our hair is such an integral part of our like look and overall aesthetic 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like we're constantly either criticized for our hair, people are constantly asking about our hair, or we're just trying to figure out what to do with our hair, whether it's putting a weave in, putting braids in, wearing it natural. Like it's constantly on the forefront of our mind of like, what are we going to do with it? So I think my rule of thumb is always do what works for your lifestyle. So I literally had to like train my mom how to be a natural because she's gotten her hair done basically her entire life. And she's like, I want to go natural. And I was like, going natural is not for you, boo, because you don't want to do your own hair. You know, like I'm like, it ain't, you don't want to do it.
Mommy like that?
Because she don't know how to do her own hair. So I'm like,
we can't talk about her like that. She's not here to defend herself.
Look, she know how to do it now, okay? Because I was just on FaceTime with her. She had her conditioning cap on. I said, I see you, boo. I see you. And now her hair is flourishing because she actually knows how to take care of it. But if that's not something that's in your ministry, in your wheelhouse as to like taking care of your hair and like actually having to do it. And I used to do my hair when it was straight. So it doesn't have to be natural for you.
It's still something to do.
It's still something to do, you know, whether it's natural or straight. But I think just do what's in your comfort zone. If you are a person that likes to go get their hair done, whether that is a natural lista, whether you getting in weaves or whether you just getting your hair straightened and have a relaxer or not in it, do what works for you in your lifestyle. You know, like that's to me is the biggest thing. Like my friend, she's a corporate lawyer. She has in braids majority of the time. So I'm like, it's not that you can't do these things. And the time I've known her since I moved to Miami. So since I moved to New York. And so she was in New York. She now lives in Miami. She's had braids the entire time. And she's been a corporate lawyer. But what
about her roots? She don't give them a little woosah?
I don't see her every day now. Okay. So I don't know when she got them not done. So I don't see her every day. But when I got so concerned.
I was like, wait, she gotta let her scalp breathe.
When I do see her, she has her braids in, and that's how she goes to work. That's how she's been going to work, and that's how she is going to go to work. You know, so I think you showing up as your authentic self depends on what you want to do. You know, your job may have restrictions to how your hair looks. It may not. I used to work for a startup, so we didn't really have restriction on what our hair did and didn't need to be. You know, so my hair was natural, but it was also the topic of conversation between the CEO and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like, do I want to have to deal with this? Everybody talking about like, you know, as Black women, oh my gosh, your hair looks different every day. I had the same twist out from Monday to Friday.
No, it's the same. I can promise you. This is the same as yesterday and the day before and the day before that.
It's the same. So, so I just say do what works for your lifestyle, do what works for your comfort zone, and that's it. Like to me, that's what being the most confident and the most yourself is really embracing what works for you. Not what works for someone else, not what works for the next girl, like what works for you. What can you easily manage and be proud of and happy with. You know, like if you don't want to wear weaves no more, girl, figure out another thing to do. You know what I'm saying? If you're not happy with it or you're not happy wearing your hair natural, figure out something else. I've seen tons of naturals who have super long hair and they cut it super short. That's what you want to do that too. You know, like just live your best life and figure out what kind of hairstyle you want for you. You might cut it, try it, and don't like it. But then it's always a wig.
It's always a wig. I've learned from cutting. Now I haven't cut like inch short, inch and a half short. I've cut like curly hair. So that straight hair. That means curly is, you know, and I learned from that. I don't mind short, but I need to be able to put it into some kind of ponytail. Even if it's a little Pikachu, that's okay. But I need to be able to pull it back because talk about lifestyle management. I'm lazy. I don't want to do my hair. And I didn't realize because no one sat me down and told me, well, baby, the shorter it is, the more you got to throw a little conditioner, a little mousse, you got to do something before you leave the house because if not, it's just sitting there. And that's not cute. I learned that the hard way. So when I'm with the hairdresser now, I'm like, look, I don't care what you do, but just make sure in the end, I can make a little ponytail. It could be the small, I don't care. I need to be able to pull it up.
Yep.
So, excuse me. Tell us, as I'm looking at time, you know, Sally, Jesse, Raphael, Montel, and the rest of them, they was the hour in and an hour, you know, hour out. Ooh, and I know we started late. You know how I'm going off on a tangent here, but work with me. You know how, you know, during the day, daytime hours, daytime TV, every now and then it'd be breaking news that would interrupt the regular scheduled program. So when we bonded earlier, that was our breaking news, interrupting our regular scheduled program, but we still got to be done on time because folks got to, you know, got to finish dinner, you got to pick your outfit for tomorrow, which I wouldn't be surprised if I throw this shirt on again tomorrow. Don't tell nobody.
Who gonna check you, boo? Who gonna check you? Okay.
Who gonna check me? And all that jazz. But tell us about Own Your I Am and first tell us what is it and then what can we expect? What's coming from you next?
So Own Your I Am is an organization that I started to combat colorism and the social injustice that comes from it, not came because it's still happening. So that is what the organization is about. I started it, I think, like 2 years ago now. Time is flying.
I feel like it was 3 years ago, but I don't know days apparently.
Like it was 2019.
Okay.
Yes, because it was like we were having our events right before the pandemic. So it was 2019. And to expect from the organization, we're actually doing a meeting of the minds, me and my partner, Edlin, to really figure out and hone in for the end of the year. But we will be doing, I think our first live back, I'm not sure when it's going to be the dates. We are going to discuss, which we have not discussed in the past, Black men's role in colorism. So
y'all going there.
We're trying, like, that's the thing, like a lot of our lives are not sugar coated. We don't try to be like, like we try to like hit it and keep it really like on the nose. Like, let's talk about this, what's really going on. Because we find those are the best lives. You know, when we I don't think I've ever tried to sugarcoat anything.
No, you're not a sugarcoater. There's just some conversations, my heart be like, I'm not fitting to die over this because I'm just not.
Yeah. I'm either not going to sugarcoat or not have the conversation. And that's it.
You going there.
So I presented the idea to him and he was like, yes. Okay. So that's what we're doing. It will be between me, him, and one other male. I don't know who yet. Mm-hmm. And that will be the conversation that we're having. It more than likely will be in August. And it will be live on our from our Instagram, which is at Own Your I Am.
Are there underscores or is it just at Own Your I Am?
It's just at Own Your I Am.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy to find. That is easy to find because sometimes Instagram handles, I'm like, oh, wait, is it an underscore? Is it not an underscore? Although it's a little bit easier to search folks now, sometimes they don't be trying to show me what I'm looking for.
Oh, no, I understand. Because I could be following people and it'll like, I got to put in their whole name and I'm like.
For it to pop up.
Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. Okay, so let me
Allison
go.
asked a question. I think I can try to answer it real quick before your question. She said,
Okay.
what brand of jeans do you think fit Black women best?
It depends on shape to me.
It really depends on shape. I am a Black woman, but I was not blessed to have a big backside. I got enough.
You don't got a rump. Wait, well, I was about to be like,
No. But it's not where I get super inconvenienced. But no, I understand when you said what a Black woman, I understood what you were saying. So I do know that like Express has a curvy fit. I would try any jeans with a curvy fit. I have, and this is really bad, but like I've heard Fashion Nova jeans fit really, really well because they are.
I've heard, because I have hips, y'all, but in like there's a poof, right? There's a little. It's not like a hey. My mama didn't give that to me. I ask her for it at least once a week. Like, excuse you. And she's like, that sort of thing. But from my friends who had that Express, it might be a shocker to you, but apparently Target, like I have a few girls size 8, 10, 12, 14, hips, thighs, ass, okay? And they love them some Target jeans that have stretch. And I don't know if Target necessarily has like a curvy line within it. Like they've loved Target, Gap, they've loved Gap. You just
Gap,
have the right
Gap, and I think Old Navy.
I was gonna say Old Navy.
Yeah.
And these aren't high-end jeans, so you don't have to throw away $150 to have a favorite pair of jeans.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem. You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to have that problem. I'm just saying I don't have that problem. Speaking about shape, I've been wanting to say okay cleavage all night. You did one of these, Raven. I was like, okay, cleavage.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay. I was like, we're giving today.
Giving. I'm over here with my Deaconess top, and you got your tits out. I see you.
Look, I just try to do it for the gram, you know what I'm saying? Let them know that the Christians ain't got to be all the way covered up. Okay.
No, this ain't first Sunday. We're not giving out communion today. Okay, so we talked about jeans. And look at the time before we leave, because obviously questions are coming to you, and that's totally fine. I can't see everything. I don't care. I swear I'm not jealous. What's your favorite place for like dresses and things? And the reason why I ask, because Amber's vouching for Target, and Amber got a butt. Okay, that you see, I'm giving out information based on why Amber. I see you, Amber. She said, "Let me show you my face. I vouch for this." I'm telling you, my friends love them some Target, and it, like I said, you don't have to spend so much money.
Yeah,
dresses. Where are you sending folks? Like when you're shopping for folks or recommending folks, where are you sending them for dresses? I'm asking for myself, okay?
It depends on what kind of dress. Like
I'm talking event dress, casual dress, or one of those you can dress up or down depending on the occasion. Like you can't necessarily make it black tie, but you can make it cocktail, or you can make it like park picnic situation. Because I'm tired of ASOS. I'm tired of Misguided. I'm tired of Pretty Little Thing. I also want just a little bit of quality, so after I wash it 2 times, it don't fall apart.
I would say Zara's really good, especially with the price point, and they kind of have everything there. Like they have the day dresses. They even sometimes have a dress that you can wear black tie. I've been shopping lately, like definitely the Bloomingdale's. I have become obsessed with Nordstrom Rack. Especially their designer section, because you can find designer pieces at very reasonable prices, especially on their like designer sale rack. Like I got a Tibby dress for like $100, like $127.
Oh,
and it's all sequins. It's a sequin shift dress.
So
I was like, I gotta snatch this up right now. So you can definitely find things there if you live in New York. The one on 34th Street has a pretty good like designer section and designer sales section. The rest of theirs are kind of like, but that's really good. And I would say, like I said, Bloomingdale's, trying to think where else for like dresses and stuff. And you can always go to any of the department stores. Saks has amazing dresses and things like that, depending on what your price point and your budget is.
Yes, Saks can get a little bit disrespectful for me.
Yeah.
Just to let you all know, I got loans, student loans. So
Look,
sometimes I be looking at these pieces like this don't feel spiritually aligned with my
I totally understand. They got a Saks Fifth Off right around the corner from the Saks, just so you know.
I do like the off. I do like the off.
So any kind of outlet is great. Like I said, Zara is amazing. I've been just looking at like every sale out there imaginable. There is a brand called I think it's Rat and Boa that has really nice dresses. I think they're mainly under like $300. Some of them are, I think, under $100, but they have really beautiful silhouettes. They have some that are long sleeve, some that are just like what are those? Like gosh, my mind. But they just have like satin dresses and they're beautiful and they don't cost like $700. You can always go to like Net-a-Porter, the Outnet. Like
I do like Net-a-Porter, and I don't think I've ever bought anything from them, but I'm always like scrolling. At this point, I'm like, I don't need to buy clothes because I'm literally not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Yeah, I'm a bargain shopper, so I'm like, where you need to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wanted to leave my house today for my walk, and it kept raining. So I was like, so much for that. I don't want to walk that bad for torrential downpour. I'm looking at the time. One last question before I pretend that I got like go away music and I'm walking down the aisles with my microphone and telling you thanks for coming.
Yes.
Where's your favorite spot to get undergarments, like the proper bra and like things? Because I know sometimes it's not the clothing. When your boobs aren't where they need to be, when the undergarment ain't hitting where it's supposed to hit, then it can easily ruin the outfit. And I like that confidence piece. I think it's so much tied to like, does it fit?
Yes. You definitely need the proper undergarments. I am horrible at like, because
you don't wear bras no more. That's what you said.
Not that. It's just like I hardly ever wear them now because I usually have some kind of top that looks like this. Also, I just haven't bought any in a while because like my friend works at Victoria's Secret, so I'll be like, "Hey, can you hit up that closet and just give me what I need?" But
no, but I would do it too.
She ain't working at the store, y'all. She works corporate. It's legal. Like we ain't stealing from the store.
She said it didn't fall off the back of the truck.
So, but the thing is, I do recommend going to Nordstrom and getting your bra like size fitted because a lot of women are just not wearing the proper size. Mm-hmm. So making sure that you're actually wearing the proper size is like half the battle. I know women with larger chests love buying bras from Macy's. Macy's has an amazing intimate section. Macy's is constantly having some kind of sale on something, child. So they have a great intimate section. I would also say, like, depending on what your price point, your budget is, as long as you know your bra size, like your actual bra size, not what you think that you've been and cup runneth over, but your actual bra size, you can pretty much get bras from almost anywhere. Calvin Klein makes amazing bras.
I got on a Calvin Klein right now.
See? And they're sold.
And it matches, y'all. Look.
See?
It's Calvin.
Oh, color, honey. There are a few brands that do make brown nudes, and they're on my Instagram. I can't think of them, but they make amazing flesh colored for us melanated folks. And but you can pretty much get like Calvin bras anywhere. You can get them.
Yeah, you ain't gotta
rack. You can get them from TJ Maxx.
This ain't from Calvin. This from a outlet somewhere.
So they make great bras, but I would definitely check out the Macy's intimate section. You can check out the Nordstrom intimate section, but they will size you. I know back in the day, I think it was free without like you didn't have to go in there and purchase the bra. It was just mainly because they wanted women to wear their actual like size. And Victoria's Secret doesn't always size you properly.
No, they don't. They don't.
So I would say go to the Nordstrom, like not the rack, man, sizing with the rack at the Nordstrom and get sized, so that you know what size you are when it comes to bras. And then also undergarments, just making sure you're wearing the proper size. A lot of us, this will be the last thing I say because I know we're wrapping up, we'll sometimes not wear the proper sizing when it just comes to clothes in general, because we're very like conscious of that number. And I've recently started to say something like that. It just kind of hit me. I was like, why are we so conscious about this number? No one sees it but us. So don't be hung up on the number, be hung up on how your clothes fit. So if you need to wear a certain size for your clothes to fit properly, that's better than being like, I'm going to go a size down and they don't. Because you're like, I don't want to be this size, or like, it's kind of too much for me to have to buy this size. You look more put together and actually like not as disheveled or whatever if you wear your proper sizing than if you don't. So if you're trying to look like, in this case, maybe look slimmer, you're actually going to the opposite if you wear clothes that are too small. So you'll look more put together, more polished, more streamlined, and in a sense, slimmer if that's what you want. If you wear your right sizing than if you try to go a size down. And just remember, no one is seeing your sizing. No one. Like
the tailor is my best friend.
Like the tailor might be the only person that's going to see the size in your pants, and he don't care.
And they don't care. They're just going to take your measurements and get it to fit the way it's supposed to fit. And the sizing thing is so interesting. I know we're wrapping up, but first of all, when you're small, it's a very interesting position to be in when having these conversations regarding size and like the actual fat phobia that exists in the world. I own that. I recognize that. And I also know in one store, you could be a size 10, in another store a 6, in another store 14.
Yep.
And you clearly, your measurements are the same, but depending on the brand and how they cut it and what they're doing, whatever they do, it don't make any sense. It's like there's a 30-pound difference, but you are the same size. Your measurements are the same. So sometimes I say, like, think about how sometimes you have to grab 3 different sizes to try on to figure out which one will work for that brand. Even if you go to that brand before, there's different lines and cuts within the brand. So it's like, get the one that fits the best. And even if you have to do a slight tweak, find a tailor that you like. People think tailoring is far more expensive than it is.
They do.
Custom pieces can get up there. Tailoring a little suit jacket ain't as much as you think it is.
Yeah. And then it looks custom.
And then it looks custom.
Yeah.
And then you just pose for the gram. What's the Beyonce pose for the camera now flick? Something like that. Clearly, I'm not the model here. Folks, pay attention to the signs. When the opportunities come, walk through the doors.
Yes.
And then wear what's comfortable to you. Remix what you have. And then I think the last one, this is like a 5-point message at this point, but Raven wasn't counting points. I'm just thinking about all the things that we talked about.
Just to recap. Get
the right size, because can't nobody see it but you. Y'all, thank you for coming through. This has been, I don't know the number. This is either the 5th, 6th, or 7th. Clearly, I'm very organized behind the scenes. Sis Live Talk Show. It has been a pleasure. Alice and Amber and the crew, y'all cracked me up in the chat. You're like, I got 5 orange suits. Wear those suits, sis. First of all, we look good in orange, and we look good in we look good in all the colors. But I'm not gonna go on a tangent there. But be comfortable. Take a moment to reflect on what would make you comfortable, and then whatever that is, do that. And then on a slight, just a little small thing, I'm going to slide in here before we officially say goodnight. If you're trying to figure out in the midst of interviewing, because I'm like on the career lifey style side of things, if you really want to know if the space is right for you, wear your red lipstick, wear your braids, wear your orange suit, like be as close as you can to your authentic self on that interview process. If they still want you already know what you signed up for, versus pretending you're way more, reserved and traditional and conservative and then feeling restricted because it's the other way around. I've seen offices where everyone has on navy blue suits, and this chick is fly with her yellow. But she showed up to the interview in emerald green. Like, she might not have wore yellow, but she wore a royal blue suit to let them know, this is who I am. This is who you're going to get. Because the traditional workplaces can be a very violent place for us. So in efforts of trying to make sure it's as safe as possible, be as much of you as you comfortably are willing to be in that interview process. So when they give you that interview letter, they didn't give that letter to a representative. They gave that letter to you. Easier said than done, but it saves a lot of headache in the long run. Take care of yourselves. Have dinner. Hydrate. Have some tea. This could be iced tea. This could be hot tea, because the temperatures is all over the place. Pray for the ocean, and we will see you next month on the Sis Live Talk Show. Mwah. Good night, everyone, and thank you, Raven, for coming.